Well, hey everybody, I'm John Riplin with my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League Night 1, 2, and 3 events. But before I get into that, if you saw my San Jose Showdown review, you'll know that I made mention that I might not be able to review the whole tournament. Now, I'll try. I will absolutely try, but because of how busy I've been and trying to make sure that I sleep, and get a good amount of sleep because I'm working so much and producing a whole bunch of other content, I wasn't able to watch these live. That's why you're getting them all in one block show. There are some VOD editions coming up. The next live editions aren't for a while, so it's the 19th, 21st, 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 27th are all VOD editions. If they're uploaded in a timely manner, I will see what I can do about reviewing those. Otherwise, next two live shows, 28th, 29th, those may be just one combined review. And then December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are VOD editions. 5th and 6th of December are live. And then the finals are taking place early December 8th or late December 7th, depending on your time zone. I'm on the West Coast, so late December 7th for me. And I will be reviewing the finals for sure. That is one thing I always make sure to do, is even if I don't get into all, if I'm not able to review all of a tournament like Super Junior Tag League or this, I will for sure review the finals and I will keep up on the results. So just being as honest with you guys have been nothing but kind to me and understanding. So I thank you guys very much for that. But I'd just like to be open, honest, and transparent with you guys. So let's get right on into it with 3 nights of World Tag League action. And boy, we've got a lot of teams here. 16 teams in one block. Whichever team has the most points, I mean, obviously you got the two teams, the two top teams that'll face up. But my God, this is really going to be a loaded goddamn, tournament field. And there's a lot of good teams. There's some teams that are and some teams that are just there to take losses. But all Japanese commentary all the time for this. I believe English commentary returns for the 5th, 6th, and then the finals, and then for the Road to Tokyo Dome shows, which I will be reviewing those. Unless something comes up, the 19th, 20th, 21st, I will be reviewing those. So, here we go. They talked about the previous winners, like Hanma and Makabe winning in 2015, 2016, and Anderson and Gallows winning in 2013, I believe. And I don't remember who won in 2014. Sorry, it just went out of my head. And Evil and Sonata, 2017, 2018 winners. Also, Evil, I believe, is dealing with an injury, so him and Sonata aren't going to be on every single one of these shows right away. They're going to be on more of the VOD editions and stuff like that as Evil works through an injury. And I believe one of the members of Guerrillas of Destiny is injured, so that's why they're only on night 2, those two teams, and no other teams are, and every other team is working, because you got 16 teams, you got 8 World Tag League matches. But it's good that they're working around these injuries, but maybe they should have left those teams out and just done 14. But anyway, that's enough of that. We start off with Hiroki Goto and Carl Fredericks versus Juice Robinson and Finlay. Good match, good for what it was. Fredericks did get some nice shots in. He did get targeted for a while. Goto got in. We got Finlay doing some good double teaming and then getting double teamed. Carl Fredericks has a brilliant single leg Boston Crab. He really does. Some more double teaming. Left hand of God. Pulp friction. Well, actually, it was a top assisted cutter because the pulp friction was attempted, but that didn't quite work. And 1, 2, 3. So Finlay picks up the win. That was fine. It was fine. Carl Fredericks took the pin. This was a nice start for it. And then we get Jeff Cobb and Mikey Nichols versus Yano and Colt Cabana. Typical Yano and Colt comedy. This was some good stuff. I'm enjoying the team of Yano and Colt, and I know some people aren't. Comedy is subjective. I normally don't like comedy in wrestling, but damn it, these guys are entertained. Is it all the same stuff? Sure. But to me, it is still entertained. But I totally understand if other people feel differently. Cobb I've seen Jeff Cobb live. I actually got this shirt from him when I saw him at a Defy Northwest Wrestling show last October. The guy is super strong. Really nice, by the way. I actually put over his match that he had with Hiroki Goto at the G1 special at the Cow Palace last July. I mean, July last year, that is. And he appreciated that. Chaos versus Chaos, because Mikey Nichols is a member of Chaos, so we get this kind of stuff. We get some pretty cool comedy and stuff like that. More turnbuckle stuff. Yano does get beat up. Colt does a nice moonsault, but in the end, Tour of the Islands pins Yano 1, 2, 3. And my first exposure to a wrestler named Terrible, El Terrible. And I've heard of him. I've seen snippets, but I've never really seen a full match with the guy because I'm not able to keep up on Mexican wrestling. I'm sorry. I'm only one person. But he is a member of Los Ingobernables and, in Mexico. I mean, LIJ. He's obviously a member of the, and it's a whole faction thing that would take a while to get into, but he has ties to LIJ since that's, it's where it started and all that. But anyway, him and Shingo are teaming up and they're facing off against Tenzan and Kojima. Good to see Tenzan back. I know he came back recently, but good to see them. Really good mix, power and experience. Scary that Shingo was the youngest guy by a landslide, or at least by a number of years, because Terrible apparently is like in his 40s, and the guy looks pretty good. The guy moves pretty well. I certainly see why people praise him. I'd like to see more of this guy, and hopefully, maybe if he's part of like some other brand, like warring things between New Japan and like CMLL. I believe he works for CMLL. I would like to see that. Hopefully, get some more exposure to him. I can see why people praise this guy quite a bit. Um, and the typical Kojima chops, that was actually some pretty cool moments where actually he was chopping Terrible and then he got Shingo in the corner and did that stuff. Koji cutter, really good stuff, a nice strike flurry. But Terrible got pinned after a cozy lariat, but I call it the Koji lariat. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the veterans pick up a victory. I say veterans like, the veterans to New Japan pick up a victory. And then we get Kenta and Yujiro versus Nagata and Nakanishi. And I'm sorry, Kenta has a really cool theme. Kenta is trying. I just don't buy it. I just don't really care about Kenta. I'm sorry, I don't. Nagata, I love. Nakanishi, his reputation speaks for itself. Is typical stuff. It ends with Pimp Juice pinning Nakanishi. It wasn't bad. But it was kind of a throwaway match. This is kind of where things cooled down. And then you got Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens versus Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer. Let me tell you right now, all the young lions getting beat up. Sweet Christ, that was it. Went outside immediately. Suzuki-gun and Bullet Club, who can out-heal the other? Some guardrail spots. Suzuki cares not, gets near the announcer's table. Milano, by the way, was a goddamn delight on commentary. When I could see that it was actually him talking, I'm not trying to be me. I couldn't tell who was talking. I don't speak Japanese, but boy, their energy is just insane. I love how energetic the commentary team is. Even if I only understand maybe 0.5% of what they're saying outside of like the names of some moves and stuff like that, I pick up on certain inflections and I can tell who they're absolutely rooting for. It's a nice Archer Fale power battle callback to their G1 match. An EBD Claw pins Chase. Cool. Archer then scared a kid as he left. That was some good stuff. I admit to not being as, sold on Archer in New Japan when I first started, watching it live. And, you had him and Davey Boy Smith Jr. teaming up for like years as Killer Elite Squad. Archer has definitely stepped it up and has gotten better, and I honestly hope he holds the U.S. Championship past Wrestle Kingdom into, like, say, G1 Supercard, if they do another G1 Supercard, or something if they go back to Sakura Genesis, whatever. I want to see him hold the championship for a while. He's money. He has stepped it up. And then we get Naito and Bushi versus Jay White and Gato. It's hype for Jay White and Naito. And it was fine, but it ends with a Blade Runner to Bushi, and then Jay White puts Gato on Bushi, and that's it. And Gato gets the victory. And we revisit this match a little bit later in the tour on night 3. It was fine. It was fine. We then get Makabe and Hanma versus Tanahashi and Hanare, and it was good to see Hanare featured. Really hope this means the start of a slow climb to at least mid-card for him, and not just him getting beat up all the time. Hanare with some great chops and some great strength. I'm really happy to see his success. I mean, I doubt any wrestlers are watching this, and sorry if I seem a little tired, but I really do appreciate New Japan Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling. I just want to promote my love of it. But there was a really cool spot where Hanma gets kind of like a DDT and a flatliner variation. That was some good stuff. High fly flow, 1, 2, 3 though. So Tanahashi and Hanare pick up the victory. I'll go over point totals. Maybe if I do any of the VOD reviews, I'll actually come up with a pie or a tally, and come up with the point totals at some point, which is usually how point totals work. But anyway, so far we're starting out pretty good, and we go with the main event, which is Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi versus Ishii, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshihashi. I was surprised by this match because I didn't know how good it was going to be. Now, I will say that night 1 was the weakest of the 3 nights, in my personal opinion, but it was still a solid show. Ishii and Sabre Jr., you want to give me this match again? I'm all for it. is I think they're really really good. They're really good. They have a good dynamic. Yoshihashi even gets in some good shots when they aren't just featuring Yoshihashi in a match against Kenta for 25 pissing minutes. He actually can do some good work in tag teams. At one point, there goes the pants. Everyone gets in. We get a Gato clutch for 2, but vertical drop brainbuster 1, 2, 3, and Ishii and Yoshihashi get the victory. So Chaos stands above Suzuki-gun. B- for night 1. If I forget to put a poll up there, please leave your thoughts in the comments. So now we move on to night 2. We're in Korakuen. Night 2 and 3 are in Korakuen Hall, and let me tell you, everything went way up. And nothing against the venue that they were in before. I did not write down the venue for night 1. The crowd was energetic and it was fine, but it's like Korakuen Hall just has this rich atmosphere, just this cool atmosphere where it seats what, 2,000 people, maybe. I mean, I'm not knocking the crowd size, but it's like it doesn't seat a lot of people. But boy, that energy is just absolutely incredible. We start off with Juice Robinson and Finlay versus Tenzan and Kojima, and this is some good stuff. I enjoyed this. Youth versus experience. Kojima does end up getting in his chops at some point during this match. Koji Cutter for 2, left hand to God, stunner, and then Pulp Friction pins Kojima. So Finjuice, getting some good points early on. They're getting some good stuff here. So far 2 nights in, Finjuice is doing pretty well. So decent opener for sure. Nagata and Nakanishi versus Makabe and Honma. Pretty bad when I think Nagata is probably in the best shape out of anybody in this match. And nothing against Nagata. I mean, I'm just saying the guy's in his mid 50s or early 50s, and he's moving better than anybody in the match. I mean, Makabe, he beat his body up so much during his career that now he just does the same basic moves, and he does a really nice Northern Lights suplex and the King Kong knee drop, which actually comes into play a little bit later. But honestly, you notice how Makabe, among everybody, as far as like getting tags, he just is very formulaic. Nothing wrong with that, as he has earned his place in the the lore of New Japan. But I just started noticing it more. Anyway, a lot of strikes, a lot of chops and everything. Some good stuff. Nakanishi tossing around Makabe. Really impressive stuff. Nakanishi, though, needs to hang it up at some point. Honma needs to hang it up. I gave credit to Honma. I'm glad he's in World Tag League this year because he just come back last year. Right, I believe before World Tag League or just a couple months before, and they felt he wasn't ready. Every time he's holding his goddamn neck, and I don't think he's selling. I don't just think he's selling. I'm worried about him. But King Kong knee drop pins Nakanishi, so cool. Okay, hey, good enough match with these veterans. It was decent to good, but it was not bad. We then get Fale and Chase Owens versus Tanahashi and Hanare, and Bullet Club jumps the bell. What? Hanare gets beat up for a bit. Tanahashi and Fale. Tana carrying him. Fale is good in short bursts. He is not good to have in a long match. Hanare and Chase, they, have scrapped in other tag matches throughout the year, but in the end, package pile driver from Chase, 1, 2, 3. And so we have each of these teams earning 2 points. I did not write down the point totals for night 3 because I watched night 3 while I was at work on the laptop that we had that we can use to watch stuff as long as we do our work. But anyway, I digress. Also, the point total once again, and if I do some of the VOD ones, I'll just come up with, and do all that. So, anyway, we then get to Kenta and Yujiro versus Goto and Carl Fredericks. And this one was good for storytelling. Goto and Kenta tangling a bit. Carl actually got some chance to shine, but of course he got beat up because he is a young lion, the LA Dojo young lion. Even though he won the Young Lion Cup, he is still a young lion. Some really nice strikes between Goto and Kenta. Game over on Goto. Some more strikes, but in the end, suddenly, quick GTR, 1, 2, 3. Goto pins Kenta, the Never Openweight Champion. So we're possibly going to get Goto versus Kenta for the Never Openweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. Except we're probably not going to get that. We're probably going to get it on the finals of World Tag League, and then we're going to get Shibata challenging Kenta, unless we get the title to Goto, and then we have Shibata and Kenta in a grudge match, because they're going to need matches to fill out both those shows since they're making a 2-day event. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to do it on the World Tag League Finals night, or are they going to push it to Wrestle Kingdom? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious they're going to push it on the finals, but anyway, This is a good match, and then we get Yano and Colt versus Gorillas of Destiny, and this one surprised me because first match for Gorillas of Destiny, the aforementioned injury that I mentioned earlier. Yano's scared of both the Tongans, doesn't want to get in there. Colt got beat up a while. Of course, the match goes outside before that. Yano and Tama Tonga doing some comedy. Got to see Tama Tonga live at two events at Defy Northwest, two Defy Northwest wrestling events. That is earlier in the year. I think it was like July. Great stuff. Didn't get a chance to meet the guy. He wasn't doing meet and greets. My God, if he was, I would have had a chance to just shake his hand and say, thank you. Thank you for being awesome and making tag team wrestling really matter. Him and Tangaloa. But we get a ref bump, and then we just get some typical stuff. We get Jado getting hit with the turnbuckle pad, referee distracted, double low blow, and Superman pins Tangaloa for the 1, 2, 3. Yano and Colt somehow managed to beat the tag team champions, which probably means that even if they don't win World Tag League, they could get a shot like, hey, you're not going to be in the finals. We're not going to be in the finals. Let's get a shot that night. Obviously, GOD is going to win because Colt is part of the NWA and is able to still work these shots. But there ain't no goddamn way that GOD is losing to them in a title match. So, we then get Ishii and Yoshihashi versus Jeff Cobb and Mikey Nichols. This is where shit picked up. This match, I'm looking on paper, I go, okay, you got Cobb, Ishii, you got a couple other guys in there. Fine, okay, it'll be decent. This was an absorbing, really goddamn fun match. I'm not going to go through every single spot, but give me Ishii and Cobb again. I don't care what it's for. I don't care if it's for a championship. I don't care. Some really hard chops. Even Mikey and Yoshi held up their end of the bargain, doing some good stuff. Very good double teaming. But Mikey falls to the vertical drop brainbuster 1, 2, 3. They picked up the pace on this. They made this matter. It was really good. I enjoyed this one. Now, maybe it's because I was just in a happy mood and everything watching New Japan Wrestling, but I really enjoyed this. And then the second match, or the second of the last three matches, that one and then the next two were really good. You get Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi with Miho. And Suzuki-gun exploding. We just get everybody, just chairs, everything going into the crowd. A wild brawl. Archer scaring Miho, just scaring her. And I don't know why that was funny. It just was. It was just so goddamn good. Sabre Jr. and Suzuki with trading strikes and the focus on the arm. And Suzuki liking the Zack Sabre Jr. showing that fire. Some really, really good stuff that they were doing. And at one point he says, "Come on, boss." I'm gonna tell you something that I think is gonna happen. Reversals. Sabre Jr. manages, after a bunch of pin reversals, manages to pin Suzuki 1, 2, 3. I think we're getting Zack Sabre Jr. versus Minoru Suzuki at Wrestle Kingdom, and we're getting Sabre taking over command of Suzuki-gun. And it's gonna be Sabre-gun. For this reason. Even if Minoru Suzuki doesn't leave, I think Minoru Suzuki knows that his time is closing on him doing this kind of stuff. It's been Suzuki-gun for a few years. He took it over from Kojima when he used to be Kojima-gun. About time to go with another lead. And I love Suzuki. If they don't do it yet and they want to build it throughout the year and they can convince Suzuki to stay, I'm all for it. But I think Zack Sabre Jr. is taking over Wrestle Kingdom. Night 1 or Night 2, or maybe even at New Year's Dash. Let me know what you guys think. So we then get Evil and Sonata versus Shingo and Terrible. Good. It's a good match. Good match. Really good stuff with LIJ exploding. Again, a lot of exploding among factions. Gross. Terrible actually had a pretty... he got trapped in a Paradise Lock, but did have a good showing before that and even after that. Evil and, Terrible with some good scraps, but in the end, everything is evil, and I love how the crowd just gets evil, and does that. Pins Terrible 1, 2, 3. Terrible taking a lot of pins here, taking a lot of L's, which is fitting because he has 1 in his name. That's terrible. He seems like a pretty good wrestler, and if you read his backstory, it's something about his eye, he had a detached retina and didn't want to take time off to get to surgery. So he's like, I don't care if the eye ends up useless. Read up on it. It's actually pretty fascinating. B for Night 2. The last 3 matches in particular bumped it up to a B. And that energy, the energy from the crowd is great. And a poll above my head. I'm actually probably just going to put a poll at the beginning and just say, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? But I really liked Night 2. Night 3 was just as good in my personal opinion. Maybe just a little bit lower. but still, this was above night one. Um, uh, Hiroki Goto and Carl Fredericks versus Makabe and Honma. Not too bad. Carl did get most of the shine here. Of course, you got Goto in there. I mean, he did get some shots in, as you would expect, with a guy that's a hard of a hitter as him. But we then get a King Kong knee drop, and that pins Carl Fredericks. Carl going to take all the losses here. But Goto is checking out Carl Fredericks, and suddenly Kenta attacks because he's not happy that he got pinned by Hiroki Goto the previous night and attacks him. We're getting this match at probably the finals, probably this World Tag League finals. But I'm for it. I almost think if you give the title to Goto and then you put somebody else in there, you could have Shibata and Kenta in a grudge match. You don't really need to have a title. And then we get to Jeff Cobb and Mikey Nichols versus Nagata and Nakanishi. I like this. I like the fact that it was a mix of power and experience. And even though Cobb's experience and Mikey's world traveled as well, nothing can beat the combined experience of Nakanishi and Nagata in this tournament, or at least most teams. And plenty of power exchanges. Nagata targeting Jeff Cobb's knee. That was some good stuff. A nice double submission spot, which was some pretty cool stuff. But Nakanishi got hit with the Tour of the Islands. That's some impressive strength by Cobb, who is insanely strong. 1, 2, 3. Cobb and Nichols getting a good victory here. And then we get Tenzan Kojima versus Tanahashi and Hanare. And yeah, 3 vets and a youth, which almost sounds like a Japanese sitcom. Basic wrestling at the beginning. You weren't going to see anything way too flashy here, even though Hanare did get in some good shots. You weren't going to see a lot from the veterans. Kojima, by the way, in incredible shape for being near 50. You can tell he worked really hard to come back from what I believe was a torn ACL. And Kojima chops to Hanare. That was some good stuff. Hanare did come back. He hit some good stuff. But boy, the crowd, or the Japanese fans, well, the fans, but also the commentary team reacting to the cozy lariat, like Hanare was just like fucking killed. It was some good stuff, though. Just the energy. I actually had to pause the video because I kept laughing. Well, I had to pause the video because I had to get back to work, but I was also just too busy laughing while I was doing some work because of just Milano. Everybody's reaction to the lariat was a devastating lariat. 1, 2, 3. So Tenzan and Kojima get 2 points. And then we get Suzuki and Lance Archer versus Yano and Colt Cabana. And Milano got scared of Suzuki. Don't blame him, because that was some pretty... Suzuki's a really scary guy. Of course, the jump at the bell. We get these guys going out. Of course, we're going to get these guys going outside. That's what's going to happen, because Suzuki is like, we're just going to bash everybody in the fucking heads. Colt and Yano almost get counted out. Of course, they get back in. Suzuki just, Suzuki going to dominate him right here, just beating everybody up. Yano, scared of Archer because he's scared of everybody. And there was actually a funny moment where it's like he got tagged and Archer's like, come on, Yano. Lance Archer, by the way, if you follow him on Twitter, such a nice guy, but my God, he plays such a good heel. Scary guy too. No selling the turnbuckle pad. That was actually some pretty good stuff where he's just hitting Archer with the turnbuckle pad. He's just no selling it. Blackout, but he picks up Yano. And it's like, no. Gonna go for the claw. Colt stops the claw. And suddenly, after a low blow, Yano gets a roll-up and Colt does the Superman pin. Or actually, Colt is on top of him and then Yano gets a roll-up. But they're both pinning Archer, which the referee just allows 1, 2, 3. And we get Yano and Colt getting 2 points. Good Lord. I mean, the points obviously keep climbing. We get 4 points, 6 points. I think the sweet spot will probably be about 16 teams. So the sweet spot will probably be about 12. I think about 12 points. I can't imagine anybody with less than 12 points making it into the finals, because you got to have some teams way at the bottom and you got to have some teams on top. You got to have tops, you got to have bottoms. Good luck on seeing that. This is a good match, though. I really enjoyed this stuff. I was a bit surprised by how good this was in particular, only because I was like, holy crap, they actually pinned it. They pinned Archer. They pinned Archer, which means you could get Yano versus Lance Archer for the U.S. title. And Archer's going to beat him 5 minutes because Yano's scared and Yano ain't winning the championship. We then get Fale and Chase versus Kenta and Yujiro. Didn't like it. This is like the one match that I really it was Bullet Club exploding, but like Kenta didn't want to really do anything. He's like, yo, to Chase, you lay down. And we get some typical stuff. do get one funny moment where he's like, it's like after Chase kept trying to get in some moves, he finally like hit Chase with a big move, and Kenta's like, I'm sorry, Chase, I'm sorry, Chase. And then gets the game over and taps Chase out. And it was what it was. It's fine. Bushi and Naito versus Jay and Gato. Hey, that same match from night 2. This time Bushi pins Gato. There you go. I know it sounds like I'm rushing through some of this. I mean, I've covered quite a few of these matches, but some of these matches, my issue, just really, really quick, with New Japan, and I get why they do this formulaic stuff of like, doing these tag matches to build up these feuds, and it's a smart decision, but sometimes on tours this long, it can get a little much, and maybe they need to tweak the formula a little bit. I get why they got Bushi and, they got this thing to hype up, Bushi and Gato on separate sides and Jay White and Naito hyping up their feud. I get it because, Guerrillas of Destiny, Evil, and Sonata are injured, but at the same time, you make do with what you can make or what you have, some of your parts and everything, but they gotta find a way to tweak the formula, because if you do the same matches and just, flip the result, you're doing 50-50 booking of them. I'm going to criticize WWE for it. Then I'm going to have to criticize New Japan for it, or AEW, or anything like that. I get what they're doing, and I think the match is going to be fabulous between, obviously, Gato and Bushi. No, between Jay White and Naito. But at the same time, a little formulaic. Anyway, Ishii and Yoshihashi versus Shingo and Terrible. Chaos versus LIJ. Good stuff. Enjoyed this. Ishii and Shingo. Again, yes, give me this. Inject that directly into my veins. Plenty of chops. Ishii and Shingo get more strikes in after Yoshihashi makes a tag after getting the shit beat out of him, because of course he did. Hey, he didn't botch by getting on the stairs. Poor Yoshihashi. He's a good wrestler. Has a pretty good shirt, that get back up thing, which kind of fits given the maybe he's had that slogan for a while, but it's even more fitting now for the fact that, like, he brained himself on those steps, and thank God he is okay. But some very good double teams. There was a big old pump bomber and a power bomb, but just for 2. And a bad no Shigami landing where Ishii kind of landed, but it almost looked like he jacked his head. Hopefully he is okay. But vertical drop brainbuster soon after pins to replay for the 1, 2, 3. Why don't they should add an L for every single loss that he takes. He's going to have all the losses here. I will be surprised if Shingo takes one pinfall loss in this tournament. And then we get Taichi and Sabre Jr. with Miho versus Juice and Finlay. It was a good match. It was a pretty damn good match. Very good face heel dynamic. That's the thing. There were usually guys like you could cheer. You could cheer somebody on either team, or maybe you like both teams, but you like one just a little more. Nope, just straight up heel, straight up baby face. ZSJ, give me Juice and ZSJ for the British Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. Because I don't think Finlay versus Zack Sabre Jr. would sell it, but I think Juice could. Of course, Taichi takes over. Everybody gets in. Big old axe bomber. Well, all this. Oh, let's hit a move. Everybody's in. And then suddenly Black Mephisto pins Finlay 1, 2, 3. So yeah, that's the end of World Tag League for the first 3 nights. Once again, 19th, 21st. Maybe if they're uploaded in a decent time, I will try to review them on Friday morning if I can. But I'm going to have a very, very busy weekend for the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, because I watch WWE, so I'm going to be reviewing War Games. I can't do the William Regal accent, and also Survivor Series, and then Raw the following night. So depending on when these VOD episodes are up, I might just do couple block reviews, but we will see. If I don't get to that stuff, the next time I see you guys for New Japan will be the 28th, but we will see. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for paying attention to every single thing I said. Once again, I do apologize if I can't review the whole damn tournament, but thank you guys for understanding all that. Anyway, I'm babbling. It is late. I'm John Ritland, and I will see you soon.